What the hell? Food's all over there.
No, the house fool. What the hell? Hold on. Is going on? How's it going,
It's going pretty
Hey,
gentlemen?
what's
good, man.
going on, man? We're doing this again, huh?
Yeah, apparently that's some shit that's just going on at this point. Who knows? Who knows?
That's what it seems like.
Hey,
Yeah,
look, man.
episode 144. You figured it out. You see it. You know it.
It's what the people want.
This is what the
It
people
is.
fucking want. You know, they
Glasses off.
clamor about it.
Glasses off now.
I was about to say, I didn't know you wore contacts, nigga.
Well, I actually don't wear these are computer glasses, so I only wear them when I'm
Oh,
on the
read.
computer.
Oh, you got reading glasses, nigga.
Hey man, look, I gotta protect this 2020, man.
Yeah.
I gotta protect this 2020.
That nigga got reading glasses. You should be
And
ashamed of yourself.
when he gets on me, I tell her go take your fake ass eyes out.
Damn, cuz.
Hey, bro, she got a whole bunch of medicine in them shits.
Contact people. Contact people are the worst. Like any good time you having, a contact person is gonna end it, right? Because they're gonna lose their fucking contact, and now all the good time is over. Now the whole the whole barbecue guy stop and look for a contact.
Yeah, everybody got to get on the knee and shit.
Where'd you see it at? Oh, I was over there. Okay, well, shit. So yeah,
It's clear, so everybody should be able to see it.
They should be, in theory.
for real. That's an eye test in itself.
Yeah. God damn fucking Netflix. Anyways,
Hey man,
episode 144, straight Meddlin show. LP, Gati, and Jamile in the building. Yeah, I said y'all niggas' name this time.
Oh, good job.
evil laugh. So how the fuck has it been going? It's been a couple of weeks. We ain't recorded in, like, say, about 2 weeks. So how the fuck is it going?
Wonder why.
Yeah.
You blame
Corona
me.
got me.
Fine.
Nah,
You blame me.
Yeah,
No.
we are blaming. No, I'm blaming him. I'm blaming him.
I like to do it more passive aggressive, but
And why is that?
it just feels better, you know.
Yeah, okay.
You know, they knew you took a shot at them, but they gotta just think about it and move on.
That's fucked up, dog. It's fucked up. I had extenuating circumstances.
Mm-hmm.
That means he was whoring.
Yes, he definitely extenuated into somebody.
Man, extenuating circumstances. Anyway.
Sure.
Yeah. So how's this week of these last couple of weeks of quarantining going, fellas?
Getting a little bit better, getting used to it. Still, you still gotta adjust your ways, because I mean, when you want to go work out, something you gotta be creative.
Right.
So outside of that, and just being, making sure you got to do something, get out the house or do something. I think that's been the most essential thing, because you can get caught up in just, well, shit, I don't have to go anywhere, so I'm not going to go anywhere.
Right. True. Jamile, how's your quarantining going?
I'm getting more used to it. I mean, I still feel trapped because you can't really go nowhere, right?
Just not in the closet.
No, not in the closet. but it's going okay. I work from home, so it's just I was already home, but now it just means I can't go nowhere after work. But I mean, Texas is quote unquote opening up. I don't count this shit as opening up.
Right. And then we'll get to that a little bit later. And shout out to your wife, Gati. She just reacted to the show on Facebook. Thank you, Gati.
What is happening?
I think
was she upstairs?
Take your pregnant ass to sleep.
It's only 8.
Jeez. And yeah, you didn't say anything about it last week, but congratulations, Jamile.
Yeah.
You
got twins.
Yeah, got 2 of them. 0 to 100 real quick.
And honestly, if you're gonna have some kids, you're gonna have some kids, and you knock them out. You knock them out as quick as you can. So congratulations.
If you're still watching, get it. Like I always say, I told her we was gonna have twins. This is before we even got married. She ain't believe me. She don't believe in my abilities. But but my mom was a twin. I got cousins that are twins on my dad's side.
Hey, Whitney. Hey, Whitney, how's it
Hey,
going?
what's going on?
The wife is in the back.
Cheers! I got some red wine. I got some red wine to drink with you.
He's drinking some red wine.
You would drink some red ass wine.
Hey, look, man.
Oh, remember that time y'all made fun of me? I brought that wine for the show.
That wine and
cheese. And y'all made fun of me. Now look at it.
All the cheese was gone and all the wine.
Man, I'm trying to tell you, that wine and cheese was dope as shit, man. I'm trying to tell you. Oh my god.
Hey, so that Dave Chappelle with Arsenio Hall skit really hit. That shit was some real life. That was some real life shit.
Y'all got people in the background. I got people too. What's up, PJ?
PJ.
PJ.
He said hello, cornbread.
Hi, Dad.
Hi, Dad.
Hi, Father. Father. Anyway.
He's saying father now?
Oh, man, it just depends on the
Papa. That's what I mean. My kids call me Papa. like Geppetto or something.
What? I was about to say, you Pinocchio, nigga?
Papa.
Your kid's gonna be like, it's downstairs on the coffee table. Your kid's gonna be like, purr, you New Orleans niggas and shit. And you and that big body purr, huh?
That's how they say. That's how they say oil is
they gonna be where daddy at?
Yeah, but that's good. That's good. Shout out to everybody. Shout out to everything and in between. So getting right to it, getting right to the nitty gritty. Obviously, again, we're still stuck in this shit, right? There's nothing that we can do about it. Okay, COVID's out there. It's not going anywhere.
There's shit we can do about it. Just are we willing? Is our lives worth doing that shit?
Well, the $1 million question, right? Because now everybody's a scientist. Okay, everybody's a fucking scientist, and they got all these different ways to go about, fixing shit and doing shit the right way. Oh, this person would have did this, and that person would have did that. Like
the dark state is speaking right now.
And so, but it's here. It is here to stay. It's not going anywhere anytime soon.
Not at all.
But, and I think that's kind of what everybody is getting to, meaning the, politicians and shit like that. They're saying to themselves, like, let's go ahead and start opening up. I mean, is that the right thing or the wrong thing to do?
No, because their motherfucking demographics and shit is taking a hit. Their economics is taking a hit. So that's exactly why they say open that shit up. Because the survival rate of it is obviously super high. I mean, if you get it, most likely you're gonna recover from that shit. But they're seeing that, their base and all that shit's taking a hit, and they're just trying to cater to the people that are hitting them up. So it is what it is, man. It is what it is, as they say.
Yeah, I mean, the one thing is though, I do wonder, like, if they open up and then there's a spike, it almost might be worse than having stayed closed. Now, I see both sides of it. Like, there's some people oh, I don't know. I don't understand. Open up, like, motherfuckers is losing their livelihood. Like, of course, there's a reason to open up. So I see both sides of it, but at the same time, if you open up and then you got to reclose, that could cause even more damage than before. So. But I get both parts of it. I mean, look, what Gold's Gym declared for bankruptcy Monday. So, Simon, remember last week we were talking about you can go into the gym and buy this shit for.
yes.
And then the next week, the biggest gym went out of business. Well, not out of business, in bankruptcy, but
Gold's Gym, they've been teetering anyways.
They really have.
A lot of them are though. So but anyway, but that just goes back to the point of why people are trying to open up, right? I get the sentiment of it, even though it may not necessarily be the smartest thing to do. I understand the reasoning behind it. It's a smart reasoning behind it.
Money over lives, baby. Money over lives.
Hey, look, that's how it is sometimes. But we're gonna see, because these states that have opened up are gonna be the test case, right? Because states like California and New York especially, who's got more cases, they're looking at these other states to see, like, okay, once you have it somewhat under control, can you keep it under control, or is it going to pop back? I think the other risk that we have, though, is even before all this open up talk, people were talking about a second wave.
Yeah.
Right. And I was reading about the 1918 plague or pandemic, whatever. And the second wave is the one that actually killed the most people, right? It
Right.
wasn't the first wave. The second wave was like 3 or 4 times more lethal
Yeah,
than the
that's what
first
I
wave.
saw that. I saw that on a special I was watching on something. I can't. Don't. It was one of them late nights. You know, they can stay up all night now if they want to. It was just on some weird shit. You know, you get caught up in a documentary and they
Yeah.
just take you down the wormhole. So
Of
I was
course.
just watching. I saw that the second wave was what was the one that was the killer.
But then you also have to ask yourself the question is eventually the second wave is going to happen, right? Like whether you wait a year.
I mean, hopefully not, but yeah, the odds are.
Just the theory of it, right? Because again, you have your first wave and people start to recognize shit, and then once they start to recognize shit, like okay, well we can kind of combat it a little bit, and then boom, second wave hit. Whether that's 3 months, 6 months, a year, it's gonna happen, right? So it's just I think they're kind of jumping. They're not jumping the gun. It's just they have no other choice. It's either continue to let the economy suffer or let people still go out, but with small little
25%. What the fuck is that?
Yeah, like
Capacity. What? But what is that?
Yeah.
I mean,
First of all, that's clearly made by somebody who has no business mindset at all, because
right.
any business owner will be like, I would rather have 0% than 25%.
Then 25%.
Because I still had to pay 100% of rent. I got to pay 100% of insurance. I got to pay 100% of all that shit.
That shit ain't going down to 25%.
So at least if I'm closed, not like rent goes away, but for instance, like a lot of businesses are getting deals from their landlords, because being a business landlord is not like being a regular person landlord where you're like, oh, you didn't pay, you're getting out. Like, it's not that easy to find another business. If Kohl's is in your little shopping center and they're not paying you right now, it ain't easy to find another store to go and fill that spot, right? So you're gonna work with that. You're gonna work with that company and probably defer some stuff and make some deals or whatever.
Change that home to a jumperee. The motherfucking trampoline parks.
Yeah. So they are, they're working with them on that kind of stuff. But if you're 100% open, the chances that your landlord is going to work with you anymore is like, no, you open now.
Yeah.
Like, I got it when we were closed. It's like, I got it when we were closed. I told you could maybe not pay this month or pay half or something like that. Right. But you're open. Like, at what point am I supposed to charge you full rent again? Because that's a slippery slope for landlords. They're not just going to be like, oh, well, you just don't have to pay rent ever again. Like, no, like we're open, you got to pay. Okay. So from that perspective, I think a lot of businesses are going to be like, I'd rather 0% open than 25% open, because I can't survive on 25% of my.
Nobody can.
They can't go on a hope and a prayer, right? You open up 25% of your staff or 25% of your business. It's like, hopefully I got enough loyal people that came to my business, retail business, restaurant business, whatever. Wow.
And how many people are going to just, because a lot of people are just going to be like, because I've done it myself. We're like, so I'm painting my wife's office right now, and we needed some stuff for it. I did end up going to Home Depot for it, but
of course.
But initially I was like, I'm gonna just order this. Because I would rather wait a couple days and get the stuff than go and get it.
Put yourself out there for something done.
Yeah, which I ended up doing both. I ordered and when I'm myself at risk.
Why do you do that?
I needed to get out. I needed to get out. Okay, God damn it.
That's not the first time. Like when he gave me that what is that thing that you gave me? The air dry, not the air dryer, the fucking
dehydrator.
The hydrator. Yeah, the dehydrator. He was like, yeah, I bought one online and then I went and got this one. So, like, what? This motherfucker.
He covered every step, huh?
Yeah.
Well, I bought it, but then I wanted to use it right away. And I was like, man, let me just go get it. But then my plan had been to return it, but that never happened. So now LP has it.
But so what you're telling me is easy for you to spend that money, but for you to go put some money back in your pocket, you're like, fuck it.
Yeah, pretty much.
And that's always the dynamic too. Like, like I said, especially with opening up, and I've been quarantining But like I have my son every other fucking day, so there's still places that I need to go to be able to do this, and he looks like a fucking, he has his hazmat shit on, and you gotta love kids because they love to wear different. Oh shit, I got on a mask today. Oh, I'm a ninja. But
Hey, that's what I would do.
yeah, he got his fucking Naruto, whatever that fucking shit is, the Naruto band on, and he's doing the retard run, all that shit. So you make fun, and you try to do, I guess you try to be as responsible as possible when it comes to it. But at the end of the day, he's just like, dog, if somebody sneezes driving down your neighborhood, or the mailman sneezes right by your fucking mailbox, and you go out and check your mailbox, and that shit is still teetering in the air, if so facto, you can still get the shit. So be cautious. But I think just a lot of this shit is just like, what, we're damned if we do, damned if we don't. I get it. Don't open up like movies and bars and shit like that.
But you say that, but you say damned if we do, damned if we don't. But we're at like 70,000 deaths in a month and a half. So I think it's kind of damned if we do, and if we don't, there's not so much of a damn there.
Yeah, that's true.
Good point. Yeah, good point.
I mean, people, because this is how I looked at it. Like you said, like Jamile was saying, that it's obviously, if you're a common sense person, you see both sides. Of course, you got to get people back out and moving around, just because that's just how the world. Humans need to interact with other humans. That shit is proven. But like I said, it's always that balancing act. And how are we going to be able to balance that with still being able to try to keep this shit under control and stuff like that? I don't have answers. I'm not going to pretend that I do. But like I said, I feel like this shit is slightly premature because I don't think they still know if they got this shit under control or not.
They don't. They really do not have it under control. But they are we being the guinea pigs that humans have always been? Absolutely.
Yeah.
And it sucks. It sucks, but it's what eventually.
That's politics.
Yeah. Eventually, the question is, what are you gonna do, right? We laughed at, I know I did. Fuck it, laughed at the people that had these bunkers and shit that have been, getting spam and shit for years and all this other shit, and
Hey,
I laughed at them. It was like,
hey, they laughing at us now.
They laughing like a motherfucker. So the average person, when you look at it, the average person is like, you know what? Fuck this shit. Like, if I gotta go somewhere, I have to get up, I have to move around. And so that's where the problem's coming in at, and where they're not gonna be able to just go, okay, well, everything needs to shut down all the way. No, you can't do it. You cannot do it.
No, that's it. Because like you said, this is, even though it's a country, it's still I look at countries kind of like living, breathing things. It has to get out, move around, and fucking, interact with other people and shit like that. When you shut shit down, the shit starts to die. So it is what it is. Is you going through your ADD phase right now, changing the backgrounds while you're talking and while we're talking? Because the background has changed by 7 times.
Yes, I am. I am.
No, but I don't know. I mean, like you said, like the hard thing is it's hard to prove a negative, right? So you can keep stuff closed down, and people are going to say, and when more people don't die, they're going to say, oh, well, look, it's not that bad. It's like, well, it's not that bad because we took these measures or whatever. But it's hard to prove that after the fact, right? The people, it's hard to prove the people who are not dead, So that's going to be a situation, but we'll see, man. We'll see with these states that are opening. They've already reported like
where you live.
Yeah, but
because they just came out today, like barbershops can open up on May 8th, and I don't know if y'all saw PJ haircut, and it looks like complete shit, and sorry, I suck. I can't do a straight line. I'm not going to age his hair up, nothing like that. I'm not going to disrespect barbers that way. But at the same time, again, you see barbers.
So you're saying barbers' lives matter, huh?
Everybody, like at this point, everybody should realize, one, how important are you when it comes to government, right? And then 2, how much they really just don't give a fuck about you. And you know, again, and hopefully this way, because now it's not a race thing, right? It's somewhat of a survival thing, right? It's somewhat of a survival thing, right? Like, you know,
don't tell it to them white folks in Michigan.
Yeah, fuck. But then, but yeah, they're fucking idiots. Anyways, but you know, again, it's a survival thing. Again, the people in bunkers, they were waiting for a zombie apocalypse and the cold, you know, nuclear war and shit like that. However,
or maybe they were waiting for this.
Yeah. Or maybe they were. You know what I'm saying? And so it's like, well, you can't laugh at these motherfuckers anymore because if you look at them, I guarantee you, they were not freaking out. They probably still in the goddamn bunker. Like, you know, is it cool to come out yet? You know.
Nigga, they weren't even coming out the bunker. They was already chilling in that bitch.
They was already in there. And then you have people like me who I'm very nonchalant about any and everything, right? And so, you know, it's like, well,
including this.
Yeah, exactly. There was no preparation whatsoever, right? But then at a certain point, I had to recognize that, oh shit, this shit's
real.
This is a real fucking thing, right? You know, I may prepare for, like, you know, somebody try to rob my house or something like that. Hey, I'm definitely prepared for that. Like, I can't wait.
We know that.
We know, man. If there's anything
damn it, we know.
God.
I just have to put it out there. But you know, I'm prepared for that kind of shit. But you know, again, just overall, like, because you know, the white people say it all the time. Oh, I didn't think it could happen to us. No, bitch, it can happen to you. And you know, it's eye opening. It definitely is eye opening, very much so.
And that's my point. Like, because the thing has, I mean, that's been the narrative. I mean, biological or, you know, pathogens or whatever. It's been the what's gonna be the next big thing, as far as, you know, not somebody running in your house with a gun, looking ass nigga.
I can't wait for
something as eloquently as 45 put it. The invisible enemy has been the next thing that you know everybody's been kind of predicting on that it's gonna hit and it's gonna cripple us, like everybody. And it don't give a fuck who you are, what breed, how much money you got or whatever. It's gonna if you get the shit, you got the shit. So I mean, it's just been one of those things. Like I said, it's been eye opening. But my thing, what I looked at it was like how people have seamlessly, or companies and stuff like that, seamlessly just kind of went into this. That to me, it seems like their motherfucking research team did some homework. Some of these motherfuckers ain't dropped a beat, and that shit was always a clicker to me. Like, man, these motherfuckers been knowing this shit was about to happen, because as soon as that shit hit, it was like, oh yeah, you can get everything all our services online. Like, damn, that was quick. This shit just happened a week ago.
Right. and that's pretty much what it boils down to. Like, you know, like the companies and shit, like even my company, right? And you know, I ain't gonna say that they knew anything that was going on ahead of time. However, you know, a lot of this shit has been seamless. And so since it's been seamless, then you know that it is what it is. Because at the end of the day, all you need is what? Internet, a fucking computer, and here go this phone that we already paid for anyways. And that just makes it happen. The shit I hate about it is when people acting like they're not working from home, right? Like, oh, stop talking so loud. Everybody know your ass is working from home. Like, you working from home, ain't nothing you can do about it. What up, B? Yeah. But yeah, so you know, the companies are going to be what they're going to be, and that you know, again, they're corporations, they're whatever. Brandon, what the hell is this?
What the hell is that?
That's Brandon bought this shit. This healthy.
What's Brandon?
Yeah, man, you know. Oh, you bring your ass on this side of the camera.
Oh, well. If he handed you that, I know what Brandon it is.
Jesus Christ!
Oh, damn, Julio, damn, y'all really about to party, huh?
What the?
It really is.
I did have some tacos earlier. It is Taco Tuesday.
Hey, this is a good nigga right here.
That dude,
he
was so scared to lose his little title chance.
What's going on, bro?
Talking about nobody should cancel nothing. I don't care who got to die. I'm winning this championship. Shut up, LeBron.
Hey, man. No, they just want to play ball.
Fuck that. Fuck that. You're not putting my health at risk to play ball. Fuck that championship.
Hey, Donovan Mitchell got over that shit quickly.
Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. I'm not. What about Kat? What about Kat's mom? Did she get over it quick?
That's a different story.
Yeah, exactly. Man. Shut up, LeBron.
But that's I'm being there. I get what you're saying. It's just shit. Well, you know you want to see some goddamn sports.
Nah.
Yeah. See, and man, look, and again, but like I said earlier though, back to the opening back up, like the bars and shit. There's no way in hell. Oh my god.
No, I ain't going to no motherfucking bar.
Nah. I'm good on that now. You know what I'm saying? Like I be honestly with the amount of money I've saved from not driving every single day. You know, I've kind of. I have a fucking wet bar now. It's fucking weird because I've never had a wet bar ever in my life. Yeah, see, I'll get I'll get a bottle of liquor and the shit is gone in like a day or two. Right now, it's just like, you know what, I could a couple more.
Oh, you see how that shit lasts when you don't have to drink that shit every day, and everybody at the crib, that shit lasts a week, nigga.
It's supposed to, but sometimes it do, sometimes it don't. But now it does.
Nah, but yeah, so we'll see. I mean, the states opening up are gonna be testing grounds.
Where the test done? Where Texas is a test dummy.
And now they're saying that, you know, they're already seeing like some spikes in cases or whatever. We'll see. It's gonna take more than just a little spike to get them to close back down. But
true.
But you know, these other states are gonna be looking at that to figure out whether they. So I think you'll see in the next, depending on what happens here and other places in the next couple of weeks, depending on what their cases look like, other states either will or won't do what they're going to do. So,
well, people are freaking out, right? And they're freaking out about you know, these numbers, right? Because the numbers are going to come out every single day, and because people just want to know, you know, numbers.
See, I stopped watching the numbers every day. I know what's happening. I don't need to see the blow by blow.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, you don't need to see the blow by blow, and it's also kind of misleading, right? Because, you know, the state opened back up. We had the highest number of new cases. Like, yeah, that's fine, but like these motherfuckers took this test like 9 days ago, you know, or whatever the case, you know. It's like so it's not really a true number of. It's not indicative of when you open back up and what you open back up and shit like you know.
There's always gonna be lag.
Yeah, always, right? Shout out to this video. It's always lag.
Yeah.
But
now, I will say what motherfuckers should be concerned about is this Newsweek article that came out. And there's also another article about it in Politico. About
fake news. I'm bullshit.
About the origins of this thing, which I was always skeptical on. It just didn't make sense.
Man, you kind of went back and forth on the first time you brought this shit up. Because it's better like having the CDC in Atlanta when the Ebola busted out. Like, yeah, that's very convenient.
It just didn't make any sense. And of course, the official story was kind of it was playing off of racism, basically. Like, oh, Chinese people eat such weird shit. Oh, Lord. And of course, and they know Americans are going to eat that racist shit up. And we did. Right. And so they were easy, like, yeah, Chinese, I always knew it. You know, like, it wasn't from that. So, like, this article.
It's a wet market. It's a wet market.
And if you don't mind, LP, I'll share my screen real quick as we show off our new features.
Share it. Go ahead.
Yeah. All right. Here we go.
It's fucking Wuhan over here.
So, all right. Can y'all see my screen?
No, not yet. Hold on.
Not yet.
God damn. Oh.
But you're trying to. Yeah, I don't think that one worked out quite how you planned.
No, it can share. It can share mine. It can't share yours.
You piece of shit.
Yeah, that's bullshit.
Hey man, what the fuck? You know.
Well, anyway, I was about to pull up this this Newsweek article. It says the headline says, and I encourage anybody listening to this go actually look at the article and read it yourself. It says Dr. Fauci backed controversial Wuhan lab with US dollars for risky coronavirus research. And then it goes on to say, I'm not going to read all this, just the first couple paragraphs, but It says last year, the National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Disease, the organization led by Dr. Fauci, funded scientists at Wuhan Institute of Virology and other institutions to work on gain of function research. That gain of function phrase is going to be a key one here. But gain of function research on bat coronaviruses. In 2019, the backing of the National Institutes of Health committed $3.7 million over 6 years to research gain of function work. The program followed by a $3.7 million in funding, which ended in 2019. Many scientists have criticized gain of function research, which involves manipulating viruses in a lab to explore the potential for infecting humans because it creates a risk of a pandemic from accidental release.
Shout out to what we're going through.
Exactly. SARS-CoV-2. So basically, I don't want to go through all this, but basically they went out. So all that shit they were talking about, it coming from bats in a wet market. Basically, the details of this project that Dr. Fauci was involved in, they actually went out into the jungle, into these caves where these bats live, found bats, did anal swab of these bats to try to find a bat, to try to locate these viruses, and then took them back to the lab and did this gain of function research on it, which means changing it so that it can be infectious towards humans, right? And so that is what they were doing. Now, this doesn't prove that this came from that situation, but it's very odd that they were doing this research in this lab. And it's also ironic that this
shit broke out.
Yeah. And so all this back and forth between the US and China on who caused it, it turns out it was maybe done in a Chinese lab funded by the US. Which is hilarious. It's absolutely hilarious.
That shit is funny. And the cold part about it is Trump's, he can't speak well. He alluded to this in one of his, many press junket thing. And it's like when the facts come out, it's gonna look weird or something like that. I don't know if he meant this specifically, but it was kind of like, he knew more than what he could say. And he puts it in such dumbed down terms that everybody looks at him like, nigga, what the fuck are you talking about? But I think he kind of alluded to this exact kind of thing. Like when shit hits the fan about China and this, it's like, but it makes both sides look bad because both sides are blaming each other.
Yeah. And that's the thing. Like at this point, I don't think no one really gives a fuck, right? Obviously,
I give a fuck. I give a fuck if you're funding bioweapons with my tax dollars that then come back and infect my country.
It's not.
But this is our problem. This is our problem. We never hold them accountable for this shit. We're just like, well, who gives a fuck now? Like, no, you took our money and funded a pandemic that infected us.
How you?
And now you took away our freedom with the shit.
How you gonna police the police?
Stop giving them money.
Okay. Then what?
Then they go bankrupt.
Okay.
Yeah.
So taxes, no representation without taxation. So taxes have been around since George Woodentooth. Yeah, George Woodentooth, Washington.
No, they haven't.
Yeah, Boston Tea Party and all this other shit. Like,
no, they haven't. Let me ask you. Okay. Let me ask you this: When do you think the income tax was brought in?
Oh shit, the income tax was brought in later on, but there was some type of tax.
There were tariffs.
Okay.
They funded the country with tariffs until the 40s. The income tax was originally called a victory tax. Right? Tax. And it was a tax that they imposed because they needed money to fight World War II. Right? And so that was the first time we actually had an income tax. Before that, no American paid an income tax.
Right. Just like churches call donations tithes and donations call donations. Like it is what it is. It's
so basically tariffs. No, it's not the same thing. Tariffs basically somebody brings something in from the outside. Say you bring in a shipment of drawers from China, right? And you put a certain amount of tariff on it, right? Tariff is basically a trade term for sales tax, right? So ultimately the population who buys that product ends up paying the cost of that because the producer's going to just roll that into the price, right? So they don't end up paying it. But that's how they funded the government for hundreds of years.
But still to this day, they're going to still fund the government that way.
No, they don't. Now they fund it through income tax.
Yeah.
I mean, okay, so they call it something different. They just
Nigga, no, they take it straight from your pocket.
Yeah, that's very different. That's very different
than me going out and actually purchasing something. These Chinese drawers, and if I don't purchase, the tariff.
For the record, I cannot wear Chinese drawers. Yeah. But no, and again, I get what you're saying. Like the process of going and retrieving those funds is completely different, but still the fact still remains the same, that they call tax tariffs, whatever the fuck they want to call it. It's all the same thing, right? And it's always going to be there. Like you got special interests, you got lobbyists, you got all this other kind of shit. Like they're going to continue to do the same shit. Now, what ended up fucking up and what ended up happening is the secret got out, right? They've been testing this shit for this and testing it for that. So eventually just got the fuck out. So now everybody has to deal with the shit, and everybody's trying to sit up there and go, well, we don't know what it is. We don't know what's going on. No. Shut the fuck up. You know what's going on. Let us know what it is, and let's just keep it moving.
Plausible deniability.
I mean, it's too late now. Everybody's fucked up. I don't give a fuck if you got an anarchy, a democracy, a dictatorship. Everybody fucked up. Everybody like, man, you know what? This is some bullshit.
Yeah,
they even had the wheel Kim Jong-un about that motherfucker with Weekend at Bernie's. Had the wheel that motherfucker.
Man, that nigga is dead.
Shit.
This shit's
North Korea needs to just go ahead and admit that.
Yeah. My Gucci man got cloned. Kim Jong-un got cloned, goddamn.
But now, Jay, go back to your point about them niggas funding this shit over there.
Wait a minute.
No.
Brandon just said Kim Jong-un and his sister got the same goddamn name.
I mean,
man,
Kim is unisex.
Can't tell me she ain't walking around this whole looking like Ellen DeGeneres. Nigga, get the fuck out of here.
They all look the same over there.
Oh, that's fucked up.
I can't say that. They say it about us. Fuck them. Yeah. Anybody from North Korea watching this shit? No? Fuck you.
And there's like probably one North Korean viewer who's like, man, you know what? Fuck this show. You know, I'm trying to give him a shot. Yeah.
But yeah, so again,
they don't let them have no worldly things like us over there.
That nigga sister name Kim Jong. Hold on, that nigga name is, we got a fact check. It's Kim Jong C, SEE. I mean, you know, what's this? You know,
it's not Kim Jong-un.
No, it's Kim Jong C. However,
shit.
Yeah, that sounds like too much. It's gonna make me allergies act up.
Little Kim.
But yeah, nevertheless.
But nah, Jay, go with your shit with the 3.7 mil? They were funding these motherfuckers for this shit.
Yeah, it was a total of over 7 million. And this research went on through 2019. Wink, wink. I wonder what stopped them. But I mean, now look, it doesn't mean it, just to be clear, like this report doesn't necessarily mean that this virus is that, but it's a lot of smoke. It's a lot of smoke in the midst of this coronavirus fire that we got going on here. And the greater question is, why are you researching this in the first place, right? In the article, it goes on to talk about how there's scientists who are uncomfortable with this kind of research because it could cause a pandemic, right? Because it's hard to keep these things under wraps. Like, yeah, they take a lot of precautions and they do this and they do that, but these are microscopic things, right? So it's not like you can be 100% sure that you're going to contain it. So it's not smart to do work on these kind of things and try to, they're specifically working on it to see if they can modify it, to see if they can make it more infectious towards people. So this is bioweapons work, right? Just call it what it is.
That's the black and white of it.
Yeah, there's no other reason to really do that Now I could see, and they'll probably try to make the case. Oh well, we were researching to see, well, how does this happen, so we could try to figure out, how this transmission happens. But again, it doesn't happen by somebody intentionally going in and changing the genome to make it more susceptible to humans. That's not how it happens in nature, right? So whatever you're researching that's not a good way to research that, So
basically playing God.
Yeah. So doing this kind of research can lead to pandemics if it leaks out. And it's just the fact that this research was going on, that they went out specifically to find these bats, do swabs on them to find the virus, get the virus.
And why do they have to butt swab them too? That's fucked up.
That's disrespectful, right? Like, and the bats, they live in caves, they can't see shit.
No, they literally fuck them bats.
Yeah. They
what?
do.
They butt.
No, Q-Tip never seen so much action. But they went out, found these bats, swabbed them anally, and then took the virus back, and then started manipulating them in this lab in Wuhan. It's like, how many little strands before you can connect this and say, and the research went through late 2019. Wonder what stopped it. So, like I said, everybody should go look at
like they literally stopped funding this shit last month.
Yeah. So, like I said, everybody should. Yeah, and he's right on that. They stopped funding it in April.
Right.
So,
but again, okay, so I'm not a conspiracy theorist.
This isn't a theory. This is a Newsweek. This isn't Politico. Yeah. These are mainstream outlets.
That's what I'm saying. Like the research that they do, right? The research that they do, it has to come from somewhere. It doesn't come from just like nowhere, right? So you gotta give them the opportunity to do that, which is fucked up. It's a fucked up thing to say.
No, we don't.
Why do we have to give them the opportunity to do that?
Why?
We have to give them the opportunity to go butt fuck some bats to see if this shit mutates and comes to humans. No, we don't have to do that.
They're gonna figure some shit out. They're gonna try to figure shit out. They pay people a bunch of money to figure out the most oblong shit. Right, microphone.
Should they figure out a way to make Ebola last longer so it can spread to more people? Like, is that research they should be doing? Should we be funding that?
Because there's somebody. Why?
I mean, you got to figure out. You have to figure out something
that it kills people.
Man, people are gonna die regardless.
I'll say it.
Yeah, let's not speed up the process.
I'll say it like my boy Jeff Goldblum. Was it Goldblum or Goldberg?
Yeah,
Goldblum said in Jurassic Park.
In Jurassic Park, yeah.
He said your scientists were so excited that they never stopped to think about whether they should.
No. Dinosaurs, they had their chance. I know they fucking lied. I mean, why do you say it's racist, Brandon?
So again, these reports don't necessarily mean that this is that, but when you read it and you go through the details, it's like, ooh, boy, there's a lot. There's a lot this time.
A lot of shit connect together. Like, God damn it.
It would be different if they were funding this research in Hong Kong and whatever, and this happened in Wuhan. It's like, all right, well, whatever. But for it to have broken out in Wuhan, the most random city of all time, and this virus lab is there, and we being the U.S. taxpayers are funding research into, how to make these bat viruses more infectious in this Wuhan lab. It's just too much.
And they said it came from a bat, and like they literally told on themselves and hoping people did put two and two together.
Yeah. So it's crazy. Now, will people take this and run with it? I don't know. Because people
a certain segment of people will. Compare conspiracy theorists will always. And, obviously we took it in a little bit, but I don't think on the massive whole, because like I said, at this point it's too much reading. Nobody wants to do that. Sit down and read a 5-minute article.
Yeah. So
nobody, they'll just kind of go through the ether, just like last week the US said we had fucking UFOs, and nobody really batted an eye.
That was interesting, wasn't it? That they just because it's kind of funny. Like people always say, "Oh man, if they ever admitted to it, like society would collapse." Yeah, they released that shit, and people were like, "Well, you know, what you gonna do?"
It's not the worst news. Not the worst news we heard today. So let's keep on going.
It is nowhere close to being the worst news that you done heard today. Literally got motherfuckers dying because motherfuckers is sneezing and the shit is in the air.
I had to find. There's an episode of Joe Rogan podcast where he brings on this Navy captain who he actually took that video, right? He was on a flight with some other pilots, and so it was four jets in total that took that footage. But he was talking about how they see these things all the time, and the military catches them on radar all the time. You can't necessarily investigate every one of them, but he was like, they've been seeing this for decades in certain areas, and they come up on the radar, and they know they're there, and there's nothing they can do about it. And moreover, like they even signed a treaty with Russia because they were seeing so many of these that they were scared that, and this is back in the 60s, they were scared that the Russians might see it and think that we had fired something at them, or vice versa, that we might see it and fire something at them. And so then they signed a treaty where they would cooperate when they would see these things so that they wouldn't mistakenly start a nuclear war because they thought something was coming that was actually something that they don't know how to explain. So the military has known about us for a long time, and now they're kind of coming out with it. And it's funny, like Simon said, like, sorry, Simon, yeah, that's just how your name goes. But
yeah, I mean, you see, I didn't even react.
Like people just kind of didn't react to it. It's
right.
But how is your reaction supposed to be? Because you don't really know what they are.
Well, I mean, like, okay, so the worst kept secret is that shit, right? That's the biggest worst kept secret on like ever. It's just yeah. And so
yeah,
it's just
my bad.
So
go ahead.
It's just a matter of, okay, people have to, again, we're gonna try to force people to do shit all the time, and people don't even like other people, right? So yeah, see, like I said, all this other shit. So people don't even like other people. So we have to get people to try to like even some more foreign shit. It ain't gonna happen. Like they'll never come out and go, okay, well, this actual plane came from, or this actual spaceship, whatever, came from this place and that place, and that they're not gonna ever come out and say that shit. But it's like, hey, get used to the concept at this point, people, because everything is out there. Get used to it, and hopefully people will, but they won't.
Because I remember that interview you referred to, Jay, with on Joe Rogan. Like a lot of these cats, they're in the military that are trained to see things like this and trained to observe, things and blips on the radar. Like if they come out and say this shit, like they're like outcasts after that. Like after you say that, they kind of look at you like, oh, that's a crazy motherfucker that's seen a UFO. You don't fuck with him no more. Like they kind of push you to the side because that's it's like, oh, like you were saying, LP. It's the worst kept secret. Everybody know about it, but you just can't speak on
it. LP, you all right? You all right over there?
Yeah, right over there. The audio went out.
Yeah, it went out.
Yeah. No, I hope people heard what the hell I was saying. If they don't,
I did. I did. But yeah, it boils down to again, kind of what I was saying earlier, where you don't think it's gonna happen to you, like all the shit that we thought that was like, okay, maybe some foreign shit or maybe some shit that no, this is not gonna happen to it. It's happening. We talked about the robot bitches, which I love the robot bitches. I think they're phenomenal human beings.
We know you do radioactive.
Yeah, so I love the robot bitches. But like everything, the pandemics, the UFOs, like all of it, it's all coming to a head now. I'm not saying it's biblical time and shit like that, because me and the Bible, yeah, we don't click. But at the same time, it's like, just look at this shit that's been going on, and understand that our traditional thinking as human beings, our traditional thinking as Americans, whatever, you kind of have to start
Not
thinking a
just
little bit different.
it's not. I would just boil it down to human beings.
Yeah, yeah. You have to start thinking a little different because the shit is right in your back pocket, right? And when people say, "Oh, well, the government they've been doing, they've been changing the weather and all this other shit." Okay, yeah, maybe they have been. What are you gonna do about it? Because they're not changing.
Yeah, but again, I just found it vastly odd that we could talk about the pandemic and this, that, and the third, and then oh yeah, there really is UFOs in the news, and that shit ran across the news. Everybody saw it, hit everybody's feed. I don't care if you just get your news off of social media or you watch it on TV. That shit was somewhere. It popped up somewhere, and nobody better than I about this shit.
I mean, but if you think about it, I mean, and you know how the government works. Like they don't just release. Oh damn! Found a piece of aluminum in my wine. Shit. But they don't
They're
just
trying to get your ass.
They, oh, you want to bring up Newsweek? Huh? All right. But they don't just release stuff. Just like they're usually prepping you for something when they release stuff, right? And so, I think there's more to come on that. I don't know what more, but I think there's more to come on that whole thing. But
yeah, because I mean, the video was even like, what the hell am I really looking at? I'm just seeing a dot shoot across the screen.
That doesn't hard to see, which is why I like that interview that Rogan did with the pilot, because the pilot can explain to you what you're actually seeing. Meaning, like when they're tracking it, he can tell you how fast is this actually going. Because from that footage you can't really tell. He's like,
you can't tell shit. It's just like a fucking dot. It's a fucking dot.
And the pilot was like, this thing is moving faster than anything I know, including the space shuttle. Like nothing moves that fast. And the thing about them is they move that fast, and then they stop, and then they go reverse that fast. Like with our jets, we have some stuff that can go real fast. Like space shuttle goes like 17,000 miles an hour or some shit. But it has to go in one direction. Like it can't. There's no stopping. And then that's not. We haven't figured that part out yet. Like,
right. What's that?
Yeah, we can go fast, but it's going to be in one direction. And then if you want to go the other direction, you're going to start over. So, so that's the thing about them. But I don't know, man. I guess we'll learn. It would be interesting. Like, what would you do if they came out, like if Trump, like I think if this shit gets a little bit worse, Trump will just
Space Force.
Hey, look, man, I'm already a captain in Space Force.
Yeah, I'm in that motherfucker too.
Yeah, so
my shit is verified on Twitter.
Right.
So I'm already in the Space Force. I'm gonna leave your ass here on Earth,
but yeah, what happens
if you found out that the shit was like real? Because right now it's just unidentified flying objects. Who knows? It could be some weird whatever, not necessarily aliens. But what would you do if you found out? All right, it's for real. Here's a picture of these mofos, and we're gonna have a press conference talking shit with them next week.
So I'm gonna ask where Will Smith is and where's the Bob Chinian, because I know how to beat them.
Like, what if you found out Men in Black is real? Like, not the actual organization necessarily, but like that type of universe where aliens are just everywhere living amongst you, and you don't know who they are.
Well, I mean, at the end of the day, like, welcome.
Yeah, in a way, I think I'm kind of just like open to that shit where it's like, oh, y'all already been here and shit ain't fucked up. Well, shit, keep on rolling down the road. If they've been here and I haven't noticed and the shit just hasn't, I guess if it doesn't affect me, I guess that's the white privilege in me. If that shit don't affect me, I don't give a shit.
That's what the Wuhan bats thought. They were like, "Oh, it's been happening." All of a sudden, they're getting swabbed.
Swabbed in the ass.
I ain't gonna lie to you. Y'all know me, so I'm like, well, where's the feminine alien bitches?
Yeah, she open up that clawed vagina, and you like, let's see.
Okay, it'll be you. So you want to fuck an alien? What if you fucking alien and she gets you pregnant?
Oh.
I'm having an abortion. It's my body. I can do what I want with it.
Man, you gonna start a fucking galactic war. You can't doing that abortion. This is a pro-life alien.
Fuck that. Hey, I got my artillery ready. Do y'all? Shit. Now fuck that. I'm starting in the galactic war.
Before you know they'll beam your ass up.
Yeah, nigga, a gun. What the fuck is a gun?
Yeah, that's all right. We're gonna figure it out. But like it is time to just like if the shit is out there, let's just make it happen, right? If there are aliens out there and they've been living amongst us, come on, man. Let's talk to them.
I'd be surprised if they were living amongst us. I think if they are something that's real or something, I definitely think aliens are real, but if they are here, I think it's probably
What up, Mike?
Probably more of a monitoring thing. So I might say you having that kid. talking about abort. Your ass will be in an abusive alien relationship real quick. Get rid of my baby. I came 50 light years away to have this baby with you.
I thought you were the one. You said I completed your universe, motherfucker.
LP gonna be like, I ain't having no baby out of my ass, and you're like, it's not coming out of your ass. He's coming out the front end, baby.
Yeah,
that's what y'all ain't.
Or coming out your belly button.
Nah, alien gonna be like, we don't do C-sections in my galaxy.
It's against our religion.
Yeah. He's like, well, how big is the baby? 15 pounds. All right, well.
Out your pee hole.
I'm asking all sorts of questions.
You can ask.
It's ridiculous. That is fucking ridiculous.
Hey, look, man. But
anywho.
But no, but to my point, like if they are here and they are a real thing, which I don't know, but if they are, I think it's probably more a monitoring thing. Like if we were to see some other type of life form, we probably would just be hanging out, looking at them, just checking them out, trying to see what's going on. And that's probably what they're doing, trying to make sure we don't fuck up too bad.
Well, I would hope in that scenario that if they have some people here, we have some people there. You know what I'm saying?
Maybe.
And I don't mean like
it don't work like that though.
This bullshit.
They gonna be like, you got a ship? Because that's what
you ain't got a ship.
Yes, we got a ship. Shit.
Yeah, we'd be happy for you to come. Just hop on your ship.
We got one.
No assistance.
We using they shit. We taking they
shit. Please,
shit.
man. You think they would give us that shit? Nah, we might find it. We might find it if they crash or something. We might reverse engineer that shit. But they're not giving it to us.
Yeah, no. You see
how crazy we are?
It was real, son.
You see how crazy we are, man? We destroy ourselves with that shit. Or somebody try to take over the world.
Somebody always gonna try to take over the world.
Yeah, possibly.
Yeah, so they're just hanging out. They're just hanging out, seeing what's going on. You might abduct somebody every once in a while, whatever. Swap,
right.
You know.
Yeah, butt swaps.
Yeah, hit them with that butt swab. That's all we need. We just want to see if we can get a human virus to jump over to aliens.
Yeah. Just like a not a Men in Black, but the other Will Smith fucking banger of a movie. Fuck.
I Am Legend?
No, Independence Day. When the dad told him to give him a virus. And obviously our computer viruses were so sophisticated that, it crippled the whole alien civilization, and we took them out with one nuke.
That was and I love Independence Day. That's one of my favorite movies, especially for Will Smith. But yeah, I'm not gonna be able to go with that. I'm not gonna be able to go. I don't think they're using Windows in fucking Alpha Centauri galaxy.
Hey, that's what that back in the day when a floppy disk fucking crippled the world.
Sure. So Mike said they might be us from the future.
Yeah. Bingo.
Be us from the future. Oh, I see. What, Mike? You just been watching? What's that? Matthew McConaughey movie?
What, Contact?
No, not Contact.
Oh, Interstellar?
Interstellar.
Yeah.
The Fifth Dimension.
Is that movie even good?
I can see it though. Like if you think about it, if you're like
Yeah, it's good.
if you're like 100,000 years in the future and you come back, you might look pretty different.
Yeah.
What gave that away? 100,000 years?
Yeah, and you're not just gonna come down because you know if you're one of us from the future, you know how crazy we are, right? You probably just come back to document that shit.
Hey, dog, I was amongst them for about 20 minutes.
Yeah,
shit was crazy, yo.
Like 2020, that would be like you'd have to get on a waiting list to get on a time travel list for 2020. They'd be like, "Oh, nah, we got it's too many. We don't have enough spots for 2020.
Yeah.
We don't have an opening until 2025.
Not 2020.
Yeah,
You know
the motherfucker. It's just like a roller coaster. You just roll past that shit and you looking outside like,
no,
damn, that shit crazy.
Fuck that. 2020 is the final exam, dog. Fuck that.
Yeah, so we probably got a lot of them coming through this year. Like, hey, let me get that 2020, man.
You remember how everybody
50 million of them died?
You remember how everybody used to have to read Huckleberry Finn and Bridge of Terabithia? Shit, that's the 2020 nigga in the future. Like, no, yeah, I want to go back to 2020. Let's talk about that year. Well, I'll tell you what. How much time you got?
Dog, it's crazy because as much as we've been booked, half the year's already gone.
Nigga. My son's birthday is in June. And he was like, hey, Dad, it's less than 30 days. When do you get me for my birthday? What are we doing for my birthday? I was like, first of all, niggas is dying. Second of all,
nigga, we are trying to survive a fucking pandemic right now.
Happy birthday, son.
Yeah, I was like, niggas is dying. Like, what do you mean? What do you mean what you doing? But then I started thinking about it, like, damn, man, it is already May 4th.
Yeah,
you ain't even been nowhere.
No, I ain't been nowhere. Hell, last weekend we were supposed to be in Jamaica.
Man, I think we were supposed to be going this month or next month or something like that. But yeah,
that's that bullshit.
Shit happens.
That's that bullshit. So,
can you imagine people who have supposed to have weddings this year?
I know a couple. I know a couple of people. Yeah, that shit.
What are they doing?
They pushed it back.
To like next year?
I'm not sure the date, but I know they pushed it back. Most likely, or trying to keep it kind of open until fall is basically the next best time to have a wedding.
Just tell them we'll hit that courthouse, man.
Man, get that JOP in the building. Get that JOP, man. And me being that guy, right? I kind of like the shit because it lets people, the pretentious shit is done, right? Well, not done, but it's kind of it's very dormant at this point. Like, oh, I want a wedding with 500 people and shit like you guys had, you guys had some pretty good weddings and shit like that, but it's just like, is that really what makes?
I'm glad our weddings were pretty good, nigga.
Yeah, for real.
They were fucking phenomenal. I cried at both of them. Okay, y'all both see me and y'all laughed. Okay, so y'all can kiss my ass. But nevertheless, it's just like when people have those. Oh, we just had a $20,000 wedding and shit like that, but then they get a divorce in like 5 years. Like, really? Is that? I mean, what are we doing here? Like,
damn, you gave them 5 years?
Shit.
Well, that never made sense. Like, there's nothing at a wedding that should cost anything clear. I mean, there's cake, there's a venue, there's some music, there's chairs. Like, you look around, you're like, I don't see where any of this. Like, this looks like something we should be able to do for like $1,200.
But my mama said I should marry a long time ago.
How this venue can't cost $200, can't cost $5,000 to fucking rent out. It just can't.
Yeah,
you're right.
So, but trust me, they won't be pretty soon. So your friends who are having weddings, they're gonna get some good deals pretty soon.
But again, that kind of goes back to my point. Like, again, like a lot of this shit is always been pretentious, right? And people say it, but then there's nothing that has been able to like stop all the shit, right? Like I said, the $5,000 venues for 1,200 square feet of chairs and
it's folding chairs. It's not even a good chair.
Yeah. It's not thrones.
yeah. And taquitos and again, like I said, you guys' weddings were both phenomenal. I'm like, God damn, the fuck is this shit? Nigga, I had taquitos. I had chicken wings. That's good. That's great. Don't get me wrong, but it's like,
I mean, but it's gonna be a lot of stuff like that goes away. Like even because when they talk about this opening up stuff, like there's gonna be a lot of stuff that people don't like buying. Like I get these advertisements for these shirts or whatever, right?
Right.
I don't know why I get them, but I get them from this company called Buttercloth. There you go, free advertisement, Buttercloth. But it's like those shirts that aren't supposed to wrinkle, but they actually wrinkle. You know that shit. So I get these advertisements and I looked at them. I went to their site. I was like, they got some nice shirts, some good designs. Maybe I'll get something. Then I thought about, where the fuck am I going? Where the fuck am I going where I need this expensive ass shirt? And I was like, nowhere. And I could just close that shit. Like, so it's gonna be a lot of stuff like that where people would have spent money on bullshit that they didn't need.
Right.
But now they're gonna second think it and be like, I don't have no reason for this.
Absolutely. Like
Neiman Marcus just filed for bankruptcy. There's another one.
Congratulations. Hey, Neiman Marcus, H&M, all the motherfuckers need to. There's no reason why I need to spend $60 on a fucking polo shirt. I get it. It encompasses your body so well.
H&M got them deals, boy. I don't know what you're talking about. Neiman Marcus, but H&M got them deals.
Yeah, Neiman Marcus try to hit you over the head.
Yeah, Neiman Marcus, $75 for a white tee. And that's a real price.
I'm about to say he is not lying. That is all factual right there.
Yeah, I ain't never been on their website. That ain't my speed right there. Cause I go buy a white tee at Kohl's and take that bitch back.
Now the one that blew me away the most was I went in there and I saw some Champion. This is like back when shit was still, kids. In the past, we used to be able to go to these places called malls, and they had stuff for sale everywhere. Right? So I walked into this place and I saw some Champions for $90. And I was like, Champions? I like, these were in Payless when I was a kid. Literally in Payless when I was a kid.
Yeah.
And now they're selling for $90.
You would get laughed at if you wore Champions.
Exactly.
So mad. I still got my Glenn Robinson jersey that was a Champion jersey. I was so mad when my dad bought this shit from me. But my favorite
because it wasn't stitched.
Yeah, it wasn't. My favorite number is 13, and my last name is Robinson. And my pops is like, I'm not gonna buy you no jersey with anybody but your last name on that hoe. You know what I'm saying? I didn't get it then. I get it now. Anyways, but so yeah, it's a Champion jersey. I'm so upset that he bought this shit from me. But now I'm looking at it like, I bet you I can put this bitch on eBay, and this motherfucker is going for at least 300. It's going for at least 300.
Somebody will buy it. Somebody want it.
Yeah. So the COVID brings on again the pretentious. Like it's like a lot of that shit is done.
I mean, I like I said, the pretentious, and like I said, hopefully this shit has pushed some of this shit forward. Like I guess the COVID's made us just in a way that we've all kind of evolved not organically, just seamlessly right now through these last couple of months. Because now, like I said, people now they look at work differently. Now they look at buying frivolous shit differently. Travel, all this shit that we just kind of just took for granted. Literally 2 months ago, now we all look at it differently. And hopefully, this makes us this has a lasting impact to where it moves us forward in a good way, but knowing us, it probably won't.
No, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I don't know whether it does or not, but things about to change. Things about to change in a major way. So, and we're just in the beginning of this.
Yeah, and I'm about to say our track record ain't that great, because as a society and things like that, we're kind of dumb. So I don't see. I mean, that's being real.
Yeah.
as a collective group, we're stupid as shit. But you know, individually we get it, but as a whole, I don't think we get it. Not even now.
And it's a time where everybody is literally going through it at the same time. You know, if you got kids at home that are doing virtual classes, young kids at home that are doing virtual classes, it's like, hey, this is that another. You really truly don't have the answers.
Yeah.
People working from home, you don't really. Everybody is going through it, and everybody's just like it. Everybody's freaking the fuck out. You know. So yeah, again, it's. I appreciate the time because you know when I'm dead and gone, god damn it, you know what?
You dead and gone.
I went through some shit though. I went through some shit. Everybody go through some shit whenever you know. And so this is the shit that we go through right now. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like
our whole generation got a good ass story.
Yeah, exactly.
I had to stay at home for some months.
You have to hey, think about this shit. When your
you don't know what it's like.
Think about your great granddaddy. That nigga name was John, and that nigga had to go out to a motherfucking farm for 3 weeks in a row and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, hey man, look, he can't relate to you right now. This ain't the time.
Oh no,
to go, hey,
oh no, I'm not trying to give it. I'm not trying to give that story to my grandpops or nothing like that. I'm trying to give that shit to these youngsters that man, we've been through shit. Like, yeah, remember that time where we couldn't go nowhere? Yeah, I was in the midst of that.
You know what I'm saying? Everybody's going through the shit together. Black, white, yellow, blue, alien, robot bitches. Everybody going through this shit together.
I don't know about the aliens and the robot bitches. They got anal swab and maybe they not going through it.
We just here for a swab. I don't know what you're talking about.
I just came here, handle my business, and keep it moving. I don't know about these anal swabs. I know them bats is mad as fuck. They watching the news like, how the fuck this get blamed on us and they came and raped us?
Yeah, it's like, nigga, I was chilling, and all of a sudden, you know they can't see, so they just feeling. They just like, what's happening? What is going on? Alfred! Come to the back cave. Somebody got in. Oh God!
My dad told us why we fall, but he asked me why we fall. He never answered the question. It's to fall on the anal swab.
Guano bows collect the whole set.
No,
so who knows? Whenever we may do one next week, may do one in 2 weeks. But so far, the opening up. Is it a good idea or is it a bad idea?
Jury's out. I'm open to both. Like, I'm not somebody who says we got to stay locked down no matter what. Like, I don't know. And this is going to be a nuanced idea to try to get across. So all y'all out there pretend to not understand it. But I actually kind of like that there's somebody standing. I'm not one of them. But I actually kind of like that there's somebody out there technically standing up for our rights not to be locked down in a weird way. Now, I understand why we are locked down from a public health standpoint, but I don't want the government to get too comfortable with just forcing people to be, so I like there being some little ragtag group at least that is not going to make it so easy, right? Because
they got a lot of guns.
Yeah, and the government doesn't necessarily give up a lot of power once you give it to them. You know, like they were supposed to only be spying on us because of the whole terrorist thing, and then they were just like, "Yeah, we're just gonna keep this. Don't worry about it." But so I kind of, it's a weird, nuanced kind of a thought, but it's kind of like, well, I don't necessarily agree with y'all, but I'm kind of glad that you're out there and you make it known that okay, this is not gonna be just a rollover situation where you can just be like, oh, we're gonna keep y'all locked down forever. Why don't we do that?
Yeah, I agree. This shit is lurking in the gray.
Yeah, like
So
North Korea could have used some of those Michigan rednecks way back in the day. Maybe they wouldn't still be locked down right now. You know?
Fuck yeah.
man, hey, dog. Well, you could walk up into the motherfucking governor's office basically and with motherfucking AKs and shit. Yeah,
Now,
they
you
could
can't
use
walk
that.
up in there like that, but yeah,
No, I
they
know I
can.
can't.
Yeah.
I know I can't. But
Like I said earlier, I do it because they do it. Stay strapped, baby.
Okay, yeah, you go
nah,
ahead and do it.
Yeah,
yeah.
that's fine.
Say that when you going jogging.
Yeah, yeah, we'll talk about that after a while. All right, Simon,
Yeah.
what is your theory on the staying open thing or opening up?
I'm I'm more. I think it's just a tad bit early. Just you don't know. We still don't. Like, basically, we still don't understand this thing. So to open back up when you don't understand something, to me, excuse me, it's always opening yourself up for the worst. But like I said, I understand that people need to work. Oh, business needs to be all money needs to be flowing, exchanging hands, and all that. So the balancing act. My thing is I don't trust anybody that's in charge. So that's what's always giving me pause on shit. Like opening back up is the right way to go, but everybody's in charge. I feel like they're imbeciles. So
And there's
like
no coordinated plan for it, right? It's one
Right,
every
thing
right.
because there are
like,
other countries that are doing this, but they all have a coordinated plan that says, okay, we're going to make sure everybody has equipment so they can keep themselves safe. We're going to do this, we're going to do that. And there's like a whole plan for it. For us, it's just like, all right, Michigan, what you doing? All right, Texas, what you doing? All
oh
right,
y'all open the
well,
bars up. We wasn't gonna open the bars up this week. When y'all doing the gyms? Oh, okay, let's roll with that.
yeah, so it's like to Simon's point, like there's no leadership on this whole thing, and there's no coordination, and they're just basically gonna see what happens, So that's not a very good
Hopefully,
way to manage
yeah,
people.
that's what it's like. They're hoping they look into this shit. This
Yeah,
shit just kind of just like what Trump said. Oh, when the heat comes, it'll just go. Like they're hoping they just drift into that shit
it
and
reminds me
just
of like how like when you don't do anything that you were supposed to do to prepare for a test, and then the day before you start like trying to cram, and then at a certain point you're like, fuck it, I'm gonna just show up and hope that it
I'm
turns
just
out.
going there. I'm just going there.
And
Yeah.
every once in a while, it pays off, and you get like 89, and you're like, shit, I don't know how that happened, but most of the time that doesn't happen. Most of the time it's a
but
54, and you got to start reevaluating some things.
I don't even like social studies.
this is biology, nigga.
You know what? I had too many hours this semester anyway. Let me just drop this.
And my point on it is, I think that we have the opportunity now to show and prove to ourselves that we make sense, right? And the reason why I say that, because again, y'all saying the government the government doesn't have any answers. The president ain't got no goddamn answers. No one has the answers, but it's just like, let's use common sense. Like like
I don't believe the government is using common sense. That's the thing about it. I
yeah,
don't.
because like little shit like sneezing on someone has always been bad. Coughing on someone
Always.
has always been bad. You know what I'm saying? Like sanitizing yourself has always been something that you needed to do. Bathing, washing your hand, like
Normal human hygiene
these
has
are
always
basic
been on.
things.
Remember when I said I can't remember what episode I said this shit on, but I said remember white folks is dirty than a motherfucker, and they learned how to clean themselves from Africa. And y'all niggas, you laughed at me. I know you did, LP. I was like, no, that's a real thing. They learned hygiene from us. Shout out to the Black Plague.
Right. Yeah, you see what I'm saying? So to me, it's just like, look, if you've been doing the shit that you needed to be doing, and again, people are gonna die from this shit, and and it's just unfortunate. If I know anybody that's directly that's gonna die, trust me, I'm gonna be so fucking sad. And honestly, shit, we're having my mom. My mom will be down here this weekend, and she's flying on the fucking airplane, and I'm fucking livid. Okay, I'm
Is she wearing a mask or something?
Yeah, she's gonna wear the mask. She's gonna do everything right. She's actually supposed to come down here in March, but I'm fucking livid about it. Okay, at the same time, it's like, you know what?
She want to see her grandbabies and
Well,
live.
that is just like after a certain time, it's like, you know what? We gotta keep living. Like if my mom dies from COVID, trust me. Like I'm, obviously I don't want that shit to happen. But if if any of that shit,
I'm trying to figure out how you about to finish the sentence. I'm like,
yeah, that's
a lot of shit. It's a lot of shit going on because, like it's like I'm so upset about it, right? But again, I'm not gonna stop her from from making a decision.
It's your mama. You can't tell her what to do.
I can't tell her shit. I can't tell her shit. And just like my son can't tell me shit. Just like, what I'm saying, y'all kids can't tell y'all shit. You can't tell, so and but at the same time, it's like, you know what, you be as cautious as possible. And at the same time, you understand that, you know what? If it's not this, it's something else. God damn it. You know what I'm saying? If it's not COVID, it's being black. If it's not COVID, it's fucking fried chicken. If it's not COVID, it's diabetes.
Yeah, but
COVID,
that's like to put it in terms that you can understand. That's like somebody breaking in your house and just being like, well, if it's not this, it's something else. No, you don't just accept it.
Man,
you don't have to accept this. Why is that so? Why, to me, and that's another narrative that's bothered me. Why is this narrative that, oh, if they just die from COVID, it's just like nah, motherfucker, this shit that was preventable.
I don't like no. You know what's preventable? Diabetes. You know what's preventable? High blood pressure. You know what's preventable? All this other shit that black people been dying for years. It's all preventable.
Is any of that contagious? Is any of that contagious?
Yeah. Like if you
some of it is hereditary.
But you're not gonna cough and I'm gonna get high blood pressure from you having high blood pressure. I'm not. But if you cough and you got COVID, I'm probably gonna get COVID.
But at the same time, it's not how. If it's hereditary, it is what it is. Again, I'm bald headed, not because I want it to be, or not because somebody coughed.
Being bald is not a disease, though.
It's not a disease.
That's a physical attribute.
I pull more ass being bald headed than anything. So being bald.
So that's a bad. So you're saying that was a bad example.
And that I don't even want to get into the hereditary diabetes and heart disease shit because I don't believe it. Like, you ever seen a family where all the motherfuckers is as fat as a motherfucker? Like, all of them are 300 pounds, and they talk about this shit as hereditary. I'm like, or maybe y'all just eat dinner together. Because it seems like you're eating the same shit.
I got big people in
and not missing a meal.
Yeah, hey, like I said, like one thing in my family, what we gonna do, we gonna eat, goddammit. So I got several big motherfuckers in my family. At the same time,
my point is just like, you can be predisposed to something, but if your ass is working out like The Rock, you're not gonna be obese. I'm sorry, you're just not.
Who works out like The Rock?
I'm not saying. I'm just saying you can be predisposed to something. It doesn't mean you're definitely gonna get it if you live a certain type of lifestyle. But yeah, if you got the fat gene and your ass is at fucking Taco Bell every weekend, or not every weekend, every night, then
you're probably gonna get them shit.
Yeah, but if you're not living like that, whether it's hereditary or not doesn't matter. So I don't like that as a cop out.
But then what are you gonna do, right? What are you
change your diet, work out, shit like that to prevent some of that.
That's cool. The pandemic came on, we didn't have no bunkers. We didn't have the spam. We didn't have the extra bags of Funyuns and nothing like that. And no what you call it. What are you gonna do? As a regular person, what are you gonna do?
I'm not gonna go out to places unnecessarily.
You went out to Home Depot for paint.
Hey, look, we gotta paint this motherfucker, okay?
Okay, you know what I'm saying? So you saying going out for paint, and hey, I seen a cigarello packet, blowing in the driveway. I don't smoke cigarillos. Who the fuck
But
has
look,
that?
I went out. Yeah, I went out to Home Depot. Yeah, I did it. But I had a mask on. I had gloves on. I had disinfected in the car for when I got back. I wiped everything down, all that kind of stuff. Now, that doesn't mean you're 100% not going to get it, but
Right.
you're lowering your odds.
Right.
Yeah.
But my thing, again, like I was saying earlier, I do that shit anyways.
You don't do all that shit. You wear a mask everywhere anyways?
No.
Yeah.
I'm talking about the sanitizing and all this other shit. Like again, sanitizing, spraying, and I do that shit anyway.
Nigga, I've been in your bathroom. No, you don't. You don't even have a fucking
Yeah.
hand towel in there.
You
No,
got a
I
hand
don't have
towel.
a hand towel.
Now,
I
you
don't
come
have
out
a
there with your
hand
hands. If my hands were wet with COVID and all I needed was something to wipe my hands on, I could not go to your bathroom to
I
get it.
don't have a hand
I would just
towel.
leave that bathroom with COVID.
I don't have a hand towel because you can wipe it on your fucking clothes. Get out the
My
bathroom.
clothes, so I can take the COVID home with me.
Fuck that. And I got hand towels now, so you can kiss my ass.
Thank you.
Yeah. I'm glad a pandemic brought you to the turn where you needed to put hand towels in a fucking bathroom.
It was even before the pandemic drop. I had the hand towels in there. You know what I'm saying? Like, fuck that.
That was towel, and you didn't have no damn paper towels or nothing. So fuck you.
Wipe it on your fucking clothes.
That's barbaric, man.
Yeah, come on, man. You gotta be better than that.
No, I'm not gonna.
Am I? Yes, you should though. That's why I don't have no hope for the future for the human race. I said as a whole, we don't get this shit. Individually, yes. That right there, CLP, you proved my motherfucking point.
Yeah. You talking shit about Trump for not getting doctors PPE. You ain't got no fucking hand towels.
Yeah, fuck Trump.
A fucking hand towel, bro.
I bet you Trump got hand towels in the bathroom.
That's the goddamn made of gold.
With his initials on them.
Fair enough. Hey, bet money I get some hand towels with my initials on them hoes. Next time y'all come up there.
I hope.
But you know what's gonna be the real thing? I call this the college football test. Like if they're shut down, if they had to shut down college football, this country's going to hell. Ain't nothing to stop it at that point, because that's the only hope we got. Because football is the only thing that hasn't been affected by this whole thing, because it's been out of season.
I said football 2 weeks ago. I said NFL. You're saying college, which you ain't wrong.
I say college because the rednecks follow college.
Yeah, I'm about to say that's more tribal.
Yeah. Like if you asked us in Starkville, Mississippi on September 25th and there's not a football game, some shit's gonna burn. And that's not even a program anybody cares about, Mississippi State. Nobody gives a shit about them. But guess what? That whole state's gonna burn if they're not playing on September 25th.
If you don't give us an egg bowl, this shit going down.
Hey, what's in Tennessee? Nothing. You know what I'm saying? They better get their goddamn volunteers on that field.
They better get them out there. I'm telling you, if you don't play college football, this motherfucker's gonna burn. And there's a chance, because if there is a second wave, that second wave will come in the fall most likely. So
of course.
And I mean, even I would start to struggle. You know, if I don't get the last season of Breezes, you gonna rob me of that COVID? That's enough to turn somebody into a terrorist.
Hey, that's
not me,
thing
but
that people ain't understanding is like these players are getting older.
Yeah, time ain't stopping.
Yeah, you know. Yeah, we just gotta skip the season, commish. Sorry about that,
Lakers. Fuck you.
Sorry about that, Lakers. Oh yeah, no 1 seed. Yeah, good job.
Man, they swiped that one from your boy.
Yeah, y'all.
They ain't give him a shot.
Yeah, just go. Adam Silver, just tell LeBron, go ahead and finish that on 2K, man. You just see how it plays out. Just sim the season.
Okay, so Jamile, let me ask you this.
What?
At this point, we.
You got all your giggles out, motherfucker.
Yeah. Hey, so
the hate. Oh man. But it was so funny when I saw LeBron tweet that. I could hear the desperation in the tweet. He was like, "Nobody should be canceling nothing."
Damn.
They were like, "Yeah, LeBron. I'm sure you don't want to cancel. If your ass was fucking 35 and 45, your ass would be trying to cancel the season. Like, yeah, I don't think we should restart."
We ready to ride out?
Because you with the Cavs, he'd be like, "Yeah, I'm already in Napa Valley."
I'm ready.
But I mean, if any, I think any and every playoff team is feeling that by like, man, we just want. I mean, that is their livelihood. At the end of the day,
I'm sure they want to.
I mean, that just. I think he was. Do I feel like LeBron is the best person to say that? No. If the Jared Dudley on the Lakers said that shit, nobody would have gave a fuck. But you know, it's LeBron, so it's like, nigga, are you saying that genuine? Because you know, nobody ever looks at what LeBron says genuinely anymore. He's at that type of fame where anything that you say is gonna be put through a microscope. It's like, well, how did he say it? What tone did he say it in? Was he wearing a hat? Was his hat backward? Was his shirt white? Was it blue? Was it orange? Was it this or that? So it's, I mean, sports is sports, man. I'm a Neanderthal. At the end of the day, I want to see that shit. So
yeah, I mean,
it's like, if they got to come back with no fans and the players are up to that shit, because to me, it's all on the players. If they want to do that shit.
Wrestling been doing that shit.
Yeah, all the niggas sick.
Yeah, well, that shit was always weird. That in Florida, that shit was a fucking essential. They were essential workers, which kind of let you know where Florida's at. But anywho, yeah, if the and willing to go through that and no fans and they have it in a closed off area, because you're gonna have to kind of do it like that. You can't have them niggas traveling all over the country. It's gonna have to be in a singular spot, kind of like a AAU trial.
They're gonna have to because even if you wanted to open, like every state's not even gonna allow you to have the games, right? Like California right now.
Yeah.
You think New York is gonna let the fucking Nets have a game even if it's no fans in there? Like, because it's still gonna be a couple hundred people, because you got, of course, the players, the staff, team employees, but then you also have their stadium employees that have to be there. Even if there's no fans, there's a certain amount of people that staff these big ass buildings. So camera people, TV, all that kind of stuff.
Producers.
That's gonna be a couple hundred people. So you're not gonna be able to do that. So this is what I think would happen, or what I think will happen, and what the NBA should do. This is, throwing out the door all my hate for the Lakers and all that. But I would cancel the season now and start planning for next season, because there's a good chance they may have to make a contingency for next season. It's going to be pretty hard over the course of maybe just a month. Like if you started today, because the season starts in October, right? So you're 5 months from next season starting. Usually this season would end in late June, right? So if I'm them, I start saying, okay, it's going to take us a couple of months to plan all this out, to try to do some kind of contingency. Let's end this season now, use all our energy and resources to try to plan a contingency so we can hopefully start next season on time. And maybe do something like, go down and look at, somewhere in the Bahamas, like Atlantis or something like that. I was talking to my brother-in-law about this earlier.
Atlantis?
It's a resort.
Isolated.
It's isolated.
I get it, but Atlantis?
If you let me finish, I'll tell you the reason why.
All right.
So there's apparently a stadium near there where they host some type of sporting events. So you could take that, convert that to basketball, bring all your staff, all your players, all that kind of stuff, and some of their family to that one resort. Say, hey, look, we know ain't nobody coming to your place right now. Let us rent the whole thing out. They'll be more than happy. Let your employees stay on site during this time. We're going to test everybody when they come in, and nobody's leaving. Right? We're going to play these games in this location, and we can have a game every night, because guess what? There's no travel. So it can be round-the-clock games, basically. And that would be a way that you could do it.
Jamile, let me ask you this question.
You can hope if you want. Try to take this down to July and then make the call then it doesn't happen, and now September comes around, and all of a sudden, oh shit, we might not actually be able to open next season.
And you're right, and you're 100% absolutely
But
correct. But back to our bet though, like since like when is it?
nigga,
no,
y'all shit, no, nigga, y'all niggas in clinch. My shit is clean. My shit is still valid. We were the only playoff team solidified in the West. If that's where you're going, but this is what I was saying about that. We've heard we've heard the motherfucking and NBA has been talking about moving their starting date back to December. Maybe this pandemic.
I think that's dumb because now you're going to affect basically 3 seasons. You're going to affect this season, next season, and then if you're starting in December, that means you're going to finish in like August and give guys short rest for the next season. It's like
I'm just saying that they've been floating that because they don't like battling the NBA. I mean the NFL because NFL owns the day.
I mean, right now, I think anything that you put on that's new content is gonna.
Oh no,
kill it.
Right now, nigga, that should be like heroin to a heroin addict. This shit is. We would be on cloud not 9 but 99 if there was new sports that jumped off 3 days from now.
Yeah.
The rate, it don't matter. It'll break all type of TV records.
Exactly. So, I mean, that might actually be more the reason they want to restart, like, because they know they're gonna just destroy it in the ratings if they were to come back right now. But
man,
I mean, you got to think about it though. You can't just throw these dudes back out there. You got to give them at least a couple weeks, like to get. And that's at least probably 2 to 3 weeks to get in shape and in an actual gym shooting, try to get into game shape so everybody don't rupture an Achilles on the first week. So
yeah,
you can't just throw these dudes back out there like that.
I feel that's gonna be soft tissue injuries are gonna be the biggest thing whenever sports comes back. That's gonna be the thing that's gonna take people down, like it's an ACL. Or Achilles, or
hammy.
Pulled hammy, or some shit like that, or quad and shit like that. That's gonna be the biggest thing because your body is not gonna be used to making those explosive moves. I know people are training and stuff like that, but there's no training better than the actual sport. Playing the actual sport that you're playing. There's no better training than that because that's the only thing that can actually get you into that shape. So, you can do so many drills and shit like that, but it's only going to get you so far.
Yeah. So, I mean, and teams who are already put together, especially in the NFL, college football, they're going to have such a big advantage than if you're teams who are already put together.
Yeah, like I said, the Saints are going to be all right.
Saints, but other teams too, like anybody who's put together, like if you're the Panthers, you got a new quarterback, a whole new coaching staff, you have no chance. You got no chance. You basically lost your quarterback on both sides of the ball. You lost Kinkley and Newton, right? And you got a whole new coach who none of the players have met. Nobody's met this dude yet. So you got 0% chance of your team like that. The same teams from last year, like normally, especially in the NFL, you see a lot of turnover in the playoffs. I think you're gonna see very little turnover this year. There's gonna be mostly the same teams, maybe with 1 or 2 surprises. Mm-hmm. So
yeah, I feel the teams that were on the rise last year that kept everything together are gonna be quote unquote the surprises this year, where they're the ones that are gonna make the move up. And some of those teams that got older, like I said, people were tired or whatever, and some major moves in free agency, draft, whatever, they're gonna move back down. But the ones that are solid, where the coordinators came back, the head coach, all in the core of your team is back. Shit, you're set up pretty well this year.
Yeah.
Hey, so real quick before we so far, you know how we do these early ass extra predictions before we jump off, right? So early ass predictions. Who do you have winning the Super Bowl next year?
Oh, I'm not even thinking about that.
Nick, I'm not even. Get the hell out of here.
Come on. Give me just some bullshit ass pick.
I mean, no, I'm not doing it Because it doesn't. What is it? We might not have a season. Who knows?
Yeah.
So,
Y'all see
meanwhile,
this
Simon
shit,
got a
man.
puddle bomb.
What I
back
got
there.
going on over there? Oh, shit, it's about to go down. Hey, what up, Bubbles? What up, Bubbles? Yeah, there it is. There it is. There it is, ladies and gentlemen. 144, episode 144.
144.
Meddlin show.
Yes.
Well, now
Hey.
before we go, here's a bet you can make. Do you think the NBA is going to restart? And I don't even really want it to be a bet because I don't really want to pull for this.
No,
really.
it's not. It's not.
But a prediction, I guess.
It's not.
Both of y'all are saying no. I'll say yes just to be that guy.
All right, fair enough. Fair enough. I don't think it is. Well, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages. 144 in the building. There's a party. There's a party at Simon House, and I'm.
No, it ain't.
Yeah, it is. It's a party at Simon House, and I'm pulling up. But y'all boys be good, man. Appreciate everybody tuned in, listened, liked it, loved it, shared everything, all of the above. We got this bitch, man.
It's alive, but we're still alive. We're still alive.